Okay, positive energy all the time. Rep your city, rep your city. We got Texarkana in the building. To everybody on Kick, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, I am representing Chicago, Illinois. We got Buffalo, New York in the building. Rep your city, rep your city, rep your city. We have Houston, Texas in the building. Represent your city. Well, we got some political situations going on. Oh boy. Run those likes up. Share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and support the channel. Well, Jasmine lost the election. I got a lot to say about that. Well, she was fighting against herself anyway and didn't realize it. We're going to talk about that. Yeah, she was fighting against herself and didn't realize it. Boy, oh boy. Well, we're going to talk about it. Come on in, rep your city. Jamal Green, I hope he doesn't run again. He's a little corny. He beeps too much. And he pretty much shot himself in the foot. I don't think there's no coming back for Jamal. If we can't depend on the sister, y'all, wow. I knew that. I think Jasmine is pretty. I think she's a nice looking woman. I think she's a nice looking woman. I think I think if she fixed herself different, I think she would be a lot more beautiful. A little a little hood, but I think she's pretty. I just think she needs to do a different makeup and a different hairstyle. You know, we're gonna get into all of that. I didn't like her look. I thought her look was totally unprofessional for a politician. I thought. I thought she should have a stylist. Give her a more political look. Too hoodie. Looks too much hood. We're gonna get into that. I didn't like her look. I just didn't like her. She didn't appeal to me. But we're gonna get into all of that. Basically, yeah, yes, the whole hood thing. Right, right, exactly, exactly, exactly. We're gonna get into all of that. But she lost, and in all fairness, they redistrict the maps to help Republicans win. So they redistrict the map to help the Republicans win. And no, she doesn't act like that around her parents. It's absolutely not. They redistrict the map and basically cheated for her to win. And American politics have become very tacky, very unprofessional, too much cheating. And so that had a lot to do with the why she won, why she lost. Yeah, she's not even anything like that. But uh, okay, let me change that, Oscar. Uh, going to a private school and having parents with money doesn't necessarily um, create your behavior like most people think. And uh, your parents, your parents moving to a nice neighborhood doesn't change you much, despite what most people think. And that's for blacks and whites. I know whites that parents lived in real nice neighborhood and they were still hooded out. They were still like they still acted like poor whites, like whites from poor areas. They never acted like their parents. There would be a lot of problems because of that. So that's false. Um, that's definitely false. My parents took me out of the public school and sent me to a Lutheran school with we're supposed to be uppity children, and we weren't. We weren't. Not the black ones or the white ones. Some white ones still act like they was out on the block, and some black ones act like they were still out on the block. Because a lot of times the parents move up into a nice neighborhood, but you grew up at a younger age, not, what happens is people move to a nice neighborhood, but some of the older people, some of the people, their children are already a certain age. And so when you move to these new neighborhoods, you might be a baby, so you grew up according to that neighborhood, but somebody maybe that moves there at 10 or 12, they're going to kind of bring that vibe from their neighborhood to that neighborhood. And then when you go to the park, they're at the park and they affect you. So moving really can only help a child if they move at 4, 5, 6 years old, maybe 7, maybe even, yeah, maybe 7. You start talking about 8, 9, 10, 11, teenagers, they bring wherever they live from with them, right? So I don't know where she grew up at. I know where she lived at. I know what college she went to, but I don't know where she grew up at. And then I don't know which group of people she chose to hang out with when she got to college or in high school. So living somewhere is not really what people think it is. I mean, we just seen the Hollywood guy, his son unalived, him and his mother. I mean, the mother and the father. And they were Hollywood. So that really doesn't make a big difference. Now, the redistricting is definitely cheating. Barack posted this on his X account. Free and fair elections are the cornerstone of our democracy, but right now they're under attack. Several Republican-controlled states have redrawn their congressional maps to give themselves an unfair advantage in the midterm election. Now, that's a great speech, but that's untrue. Elections have never been fair since the founding of the country. Elections have never been fair. Never. There's been voter fraud. There's been intimidation at the polls as long as this country been here. He's supposed to know that. But I understand it's a good speech, but that's false. If you go way back to early voting, way back, when the country first became a country, the elections was all kind of stuff going on. Threatening you at the mayor was, in these small towns in Chicago, the mayor was not really the choice of the people. Whoever was rich used to pick the mayor. Whoever was rich would pick the governor, the senators. Gangsters controlled the polls. Women were not allowed to vote. So what does he mean for elections when the country where women weren't even allowed to vote? Right? Right? So what does he mean that fair elections is the cornerstone when blacks and women weren't allowed to vote? He's from Hawaii. His daddy's African, his mother's white. So he's doing the best he can with what he got. But he doesn't, He's not like us, but he cool. He does his best. But uh, wait a minute. Let me read it again. Free and fair elections are the cornerstone of our democracy. No, they're not. No, they're not. No, 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 no. No, this has always been gangster. It's always been bootleg. It's always been cheating. It's always been election fraud. It's always been discrimination. How can you say that when blacks and women couldn't vote? How could you say this is the cornerstone? The cornerstone of this country is robbery, stealing, and gangsterism. Cowboys is the cornerstone of this entire country. What is he talking about? I understand he's a politician. He said some political stuff. So they definitely did, Oscar. They definitely did redistrict. They absolutely redistricted the area. I mean, she's not lying about that. That's a known fact. That was all over the news. And so they redistricted. When they say make America great again, they talking about the 70s. And we were going to go back. We would go back to the 70s. The 70s was popping. Jobs everywhere. Houses cheap. Cadillacs cheap. You make a lot of money and pay a little bit for groceries. So make America great again would be the 70s, for sure. For absolutely sure. In the 70s, my father had a 3-bedroom house with a basement for $250 a month. $250 a month. Him and my mother was making $3,000 a month. Now you do the math. Phone bill, $8. If the kids talk a lot, $8. Your daddy be hollering, "Kids, stay off that phone. This phone bill, $8. It's usually $6." You know what I'm saying? Real talk. I kid you not. I kid you not. Yeah, make America great again. Go back to the 70s for sure. Imagine my parents make $1,500 a piece and their mortgage for a brand new house is $250. $250. $250 and they're making $3,000. All their bills, food and everything for the whole month is probably $400. And that's eating out a lot. You throw the car note in there, 500. Okay, what's 500? Right? What's 500 out of 3,000? It's $2,500 a month left over. So yeah. Now, what was she fighting for? According to the internet, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett is the most known for fighting for civil liberties, voting rights, and criminal justice reform, whatever that is. Often through highly vocal and unfiltered rhetorical style that targets Republican leadership. In other words, tacky and ghetto. They cleaned it up, didn't they? Highly vocal. You know what I'm saying? Oh, oh my God. Hey, listen, look how they cleaned that up. They called it highly vocal. Okay? That's what I should call her. She wasn't ghetto, she was highly vocal and unfiltered. Rhetorical style that targets Republican leadership. A Former public defender and civil rights attorney, she gained national prominence for leading a 2021 quorum break in the Texas House to block restrictive voting legislation and for her viral combative exchange in U.S. House committee hearings. So she was combative. All right. She was combative. So I really didn't pay her a lot of attention. Let me take a little break and we'll continue. So that's their description of her. What else was she doing? Same thing, voters' rights, criminal justice reform, civil liberties, and social justice. Basically, nothing. That's what she was doing, nothing. These just look like catchphrases. Police accountability, the elimination of certain in-court fees for incarcerated persons, and the national banning of no-knock warrants through Breonna Taylor Act, which is good things, don't get me wrong. Voters' rights, that's a good thing. Online, same-day voter registration, that's going to be a scam. Reproductive rights, strike down abortion bans, so we have less babies, so we can't vote for her. Okay, imagine needing votes and pushing abortion, right? So you're Black, you push abortion in the Black community, you push immigration with the Hispanic community, so you have less Black babies, you bring in more Hispanics, and then a Hispanic can run against you and you're going to lose. Make it make sense. Make it make sense that you push to have less Black babies, more Hispanics come in, and where are you going to get votes from? So now a Hispanic person can run, and you're not going to win. Make that make some sense. She has consistently opposed bans on transgender women and girls participating in female sports, framing the issue as a distraction used by conservatives to attack the LGBTQ plus rights. So she wants a boy or a man to be able to change their sex and compete with a woman. Nothing that really benefits us. Yes, anti-Black and anti-family. Representative Jasmine Crockett has consistently expressed support for the concept of reparations. I don't even want to read anymore because I don't know her for any of that. Every time I seen her, she was being loud in the Congress or the Senate, wherever the hell she was at, the Congress, I guess. So I don't know any of that. And you got to have some decorum. And if you're in there and you're loud, they're going to get you out. It doesn't matter if you're black or white. If you're obnoxious, they're going to make you move around. You know, they got rid of this loud mouth screaming and hollering. So, my first opinion of Jasmine is I never liked her. She reminded me of a bad relationship where I went out with a woman that was nice and really sweet on the date. We end up hooking up and we become like a couple. And the next thing I know, she's hollering and screaming a lot, kind of boisterous, especially if she lives in an apartment and it seems like she don't care the neighbors here. And you're kind of conservative and you think, hey, it's neighbors downstairs and upstairs. You want them to hear all that hollering and screaming? How am I supposed to walk outside and not be a little embarrassed? Like, hey, neighbor. Oh, yeah, well, what can I do? You know what I'm saying? So she reminds me of a bad date. Okay. That's the first thing. So as soon as I would click on her, I would click off of it. And she gave me PTSD, like relationship PTSD, right? Been there, done that. As soon as I hear her mouth, I would click off. Yeah, I would click off. Yeah. Not my kind of woman, for sure. Reminds me of the kind of woman that when you break up, you're a little sad and you go home and say, actually, that was a good thing. Nobody set her up to fail. She was going to fail anyway. She didn't have no decorum. She wasn't pushing FBA. She wasn't pushing reparations. She wasn't pushing nothing. She stayed on my Instagram. Instagram make you watch stuff you don't want to watch while you strolling. I never seen her talking about anything. Never. I've never seen her talk about anything that benefits black people. Every time I've seen her, she says, so Mr. Senator, are you trying to tell me? Wah, wah, wah. That's all I know her for. I don't know her for pushing nothing. I know her from being combative. Combative. That's what I know her. That's the only Jasmine I know. That's her fault. She's not known for pushing anything for foundational Black Americans. What is she known for pushing? Nothing. She's known for being combative, but she's not known for standing on nothing. She's not known for any issues. All that stuff I read, she's not known for any of that. She pushed LGBT and immigrants, but not as much as she was hollering. She's known first for hollering. She know more for hollering than she is for her LGBTQ immigrant stance. Most people, when you say Jasmine, they see her with the red lipstick on. That's what she known for. That's what I know her for. I don't know nothing about none of this other stuff. I don't know none of this other stuff. She not married? I bet she not. Come on, man. Mm-mm. Ain't no black man want to hear that. Mm-mm. She run them all away. She run them all away. I'm telling you, she gave me relationship PTSD. As soon as I hear her, I turn, oh Lord. Remind me of a bad relationship to me with that hairdo and that lipstick. I don't know if she was anti-Republican. All I know is she was just hollering. You know what I'm saying? She was always was something wrong. And it's always her. Let somebody else talk. Nobody else is saying nothing. She's the main one. And Mr. Senator, I'm like, it's other Democrats, let them say something. Why you got to be the main one? I thought it was tacky. I didn't like her look either. I think, we have looks. We have our sports look, we have our casual look, we have our business look, and we have our political look. Your business look could change depending on what business you're in, but your political look has to be political. Her political look was nothing. You understand? And the black man won't run. That's another story for another day. Young black brothers won't take no political responsibility. So what could you say? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, you ain't gonna run. So there you have it. So I didn't really care if they cheated her. Now, do I think she acted that way on purpose? No, I think she's tacky. She's tacky. She's tacky, tacky, tacky. Her look is tacky. Her attitude is tacky. She is tacky. The problem is she won't realize she's tacky and detactify herself. She needs to detactify. You know what I'm saying? Somebody pour some untacky juice on her because she's tacky. You know what I'm saying? She ain't got no strong man because she have a strong man. Like, babe, you can't go to work looking like that. You look tacky. You look too ghetto. You're not supposed to look like you sing with the Supremes, okay? She looked like she should be on stage. Stop in the name of love. Before that's what she looked like. She don't look like a politician. You gotta act a role. You have to be able to be different people. You can't be the same person all the time. If I decide I'm going to run for office, I got to throw this Pharaoh in the garbage, and I got to be a politician. I can't be this person. I can't be the I can't be the internet or the one on the block or the one in the studio. I have to be a politician. You understand? And so she's not a smart politician. She's not that smart because why would you campaign for Hispanics? They're not going to vote for you. Duh, they're going to, you know what I'm saying? So she's campaigning for immigrants who are not going to vote for her. And I don't know when foundational Black Americans or Black Americans going to realize that when you're in a political situation, it's different than living situation. In a living situation, it's all people. And you want to get along with all people. But in a political situation, you have to run according to your race because that's what everybody else is going to do. And you have to play the game the way the game is played. Okay? A lot of women make that mistake because they try to run on behalf of women. But no, if you're a white woman and you run, you're not going to represent women. You're going to represent whites. If you're a Black woman and you run, you're going to represent Blacks. If you're Hispanic, that's what you're going to represent. That mayor of New York, he represents immigrants. He doesn't represent Americans. He represents foreigners that became Americans. You understand? No comprende, amigo. No comprende. El speaky el English. You know what I'm saying? El speak el speak el English, amigo. Okay, Vato? No comprende. I don't know what you're saying. If you was to ask my mother, rest in peace of her, she would have told you, he don't even speak English well. Hey, amigo, I don't even speak this stuff right. So you know I can't speak no Spanish. I know some Spanish. I know mota. I know uno, dos. I know agua caliente. I know señorita. I know señorita. I know puto. I know some words. Now, this is a great place to live. I love America. But the sister, she, I know dinero. I definitely know dinero. I know mucho dinero. I know mucho dinero. I know that. I know tequila. I know señorita. Stuff like that. You feel me, Vato? So I don't know what's wrong with Jasmine. She was fighting for trans and women's sports. That's a little crazy. I don't know what's that about. I think it's just something they just do. Uh, I don't know what that's about. Uh, I don't know why they. I don't know how that is political. I don't know how that ranks over food, clothing, shelter, jobs, cost of living. I don't know why that's so high on the because trans people need food, clothing, jobs, house of living, and stuff like that. So I think the Democrats feel like the Republicans is the white vote. And I think they got to be like the social issue votes. Oh, we blacks, trans, gays. I think they feel like they got to touch on issues because when it comes to racially, I think they believe that the Republicans gonna always get the majority of the white vote. So that's what the Democrats feel like they got to get. They can't get enough white votes, so they try to get whites to vote based on issues. See, Obama got a lot of the white votes because he got the white gays. So they think they could do what he did. Yeah, but the gays already got what they want. They don't want nothing else. They cool now. So they trying to do what Obama did back in 2008 or whenever the two times he ran. He was able to get the white vote by getting issues that certain whites might put over their race. So he was able to target the LGBTQ community and get that vote, but you're not going to be able to keep doing that over and over again. That vote already sailed. There, that vote is already sailed. And once you want to start going further and say, oh, they get to go to the bathroom with people that's born female, now you're going to lose votes because nobody think that should be done because we can't trust that a trans person is really that for real. And we would have men dress up like women just to go in the women's bathroom. You're going to create like problems. And so for me, if I was running for as a politician and I wanted to help the trans community and get votes, I would be able to get them because I would say, we want to have third bathrooms built. We need another bathroom for trans. Because that's the only thing that we would tolerate. Give them their own bathroom. Now, if trans people say, no, I'm a woman now, I'll be like, no, you're not. You're a trans. You can't be a trans woman or a trans man and say you're a man or a woman. You're a trans. You're trans. You're not a woman. You're a trans woman. You're not a man. You're a trans man. That's like saying I got an am. I don't got an am. I got a trans am. But you can't say I got an am. Oh, what kind of car you got? I got an am. No, that's a trans am. So you're a trans woman. You're not a woman. You wasn't born a woman. You was born a man. And you feel like you're a woman. But your sexual organs say you're a man. And in this world, whatever kind of organs you got, that's what you are. Now, you could be a hermaphrodite if your organs say that. But if you was born, whatever organs you were born with, that's what you are. And then you turn into something else. So you got to go to the turn into something else bathroom. You can't go until I was born like this bathroom. Now, that's not negotiable. No, the Democrats aren't trying to change anything. The Democrats are struggling for votes. I already told you what it is. The Democrats are just struggling for votes. So they're using social issues to get votes because the Republican Party is white. So if you're a Democrat, you don't have enough black people to get the vote. You don't have enough Hispanics to get the vote. So you have to get the vote from social issues. I'm telling y'all what's really going on. This has nothing to do with them really believing any of that. It has something to do with the struggle that they go through to get the votes. Democrats struggle to get votes. This country has 360 million people. Only 50 million are black. That's not enough votes. Out of that 360 million people, probably only 150 million probably vote. You understand? I know you watch many of the House hearings, and you're probably right. But what I'm saying is, for those of us that don't watch that, all we see is her hollering and screaming the way she's chopped up. That's her fault. She shouldn't have that many clips being confrontational. She should have a lot of clips pushing for something. That's my point. I'm not saying she don't be pushing for stuff, but she got too many aggressive clips. Too many. And those get chopped up. And people that don't watch when it's going on the Instagram, they see that. And that's what she's going to be known for. You see what I'm trying to say? Dare to search? I'm sure she does a lot of stuff, but I don't know none of it because every time I see her, she's combative. And that's why I'm saying she should stop being so combative because the other thing she's doing is getting drowned out. She's drowning out everything she's doing with that combative energy. That's what I feel. That would be my advice to her. She like pigeonholed herself. Because that's what she's known for. Watch, I'm going to show you. They even wrote it in her description. Which one was that? Look how they described her. No, that's not it. Hold on. That's where she made a mistake. Look, often through her highly vocal and unfiltered rhetorical style that targets Republican leadership. This is how when you search her, this is what comes up. She's not known for no policies. She definitely, when you do see her fighting, it's never for us. It's never for us. But it's because they feel like they're going to get our vote anyway. And the black vote is not enough for them to win. You understand? The black vote, you cannot win with the black vote. But the problem is if you're pushing LGBTQ, you're pushing less black votes because if more blacks become gay, where are we going to get the babies for the votes? So when you see black Democrats pushing a gay agenda, that means blacks will never win. That means blacks will never win. So I understand why they do it, but they should find other issues besides the gay issue, because if you're pushing for votes, being gay means less votes. Being gay means no babies. No babies, no votes. If all blacks vote, you still can't win. It's only 50 million black people because we got too many black on black violence. And the younger black man, he ain't having no babies. If he was having babies, we'd be up to 75 million. But because over the years, the young black man ain't having no children, he's not staying with the traditions of the black family who would have 5 children, 4 children, 3 children, at least 2. Yeah, she's calling for abortions, which means no votes. Yes, probably could have, but let me ask you something. Do you think that she looked the way she should? You like the way she dressed and made herself up? Do you think she had the right look for a politician? Because I don't. I think it was too ghetto. And I think the loud black woman is something we need to not be stereotyped as. As a man, I'm going to tell you straight up, dare to search. A lot of black men would not vote for her because she reminds us of bad relationships. She reminds us of being in relationships with black women that carry on like that. And we're men. And so we get physical. Oh, go ahead. Say whatever you want to say. Do your thing. Add everything. Everything you want to say, I appreciate it. But as men, we fight. We warriors. So if I'm with a woman and she's hollering and screaming, I'm at a disadvantage because we fight, but you don't hit women. So now what? We don't holler and scream. We fight. We're warriors. So now she's doing all the hollering. So now if I got to holler back, I'm looking feminine. And so the way she don't understand the way she carry herself, she's not going to get the black man's vote. It's not going to happen because she reminds us of a wife we don't want. I speak for a lot of black men. We would never date her. We would never date her. I would never date her. I mean, I'd go out with her and have sex with her, but that'd be it. A wife? Oh no. Being locked up in the house with her? Yeah, I'm sure. But she's not gonna get the black man vote. She's definitely a turnoff. She's a turnoff. The black man typically is very quiet. I'd get her pregnant if I liked her. I mean, I'd be willing, if I made that decision, okay, she boisterous and stuff, but I love her, I'll put up with it. So if I went out with her and I fell in love with her, even though she was a little obnoxious, I'll tolerate it. Many times as men, we tolerate our women's where they lacking at. Because we're men. And we're like, seriously. We don't have that emotion. She can't strike up no emotion. So yeah, I'd hit her, and if I loved her, I'd get her pregnant, even though she would be a little bit obnoxious. But if I love her this much and she's this much obnoxious, if this is how much I like her and this is how obnoxious she is, I deal with it. But for sure, if she was my woman, one reason she would love me because I would stand on business, or would she come on and say, baby, don't let me see you on that TV no more. All upset like that. That's a bad look. I would have helped her out. You're ruining your image. That's what I would tell her. Babe, you ruined your image. Let some of them white people argue with them white people. You stop arguing with them white people. If them other white people, if them white Democrats don't want to argue with their white counterparts, why should you do it? Why should you put your reputation out there? That's what I would have told her, because that's what she was doing. She's out there arguing with them white Republicans on behalf of them white Democrats, and neither one of them like her. And she lost her job, and them white Democrats gonna win re-election. She shouldn't have put herself out there like that. She should have focused on black issues for black people. That was she. Every time we should have seen her, she should have been standing on business for us. That's what she should have did. And if she can't stand on business for us, then she should just stand on business for all Americans and just be cool and just push to pass bills for Americans. That's what she should do. You say, do I want her to raise my kid? You got to understand, when I have women by babies by a woman, we both raise our child. So you don't really. So, Michael, so your woman raised your child by herself, or do you raise your child? Do you raise your child? Because if I'm not like you, Michael, if I'm with a woman, she's gonna raise a child according to my suggestions. Now, she probably would run over you because you posting smiley faces. And Big Pharaoh don't post smiley faces. I got toxic masculinity, so I don't post yellow faces. Because to me that's feminine. I don't post yellow faces. It just don't look right. I'm brown, I ain't even yellow. So I don't post yellow faces. So me and you, we're not the same. She probably would mess your child up. But I'm gonna be dominant and raise mine and her. Yeah. If I hit it and get her pregnant, it's gonna be just like daddy. I'm gonna be she gonna do what I tell her. Anyway, she gonna calm all that down. I'm not like you, Michael. She probably would run over you and mess your child up. I don't know. You're not like Big Pharaoh. I could change her life. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. She wouldn't even be nothing like that if I hit it. So it don't even make sense because you talking about that Jasmine. You ain't talking about my Jasmine. See, that's what I'm trying to tell you, Michael. You talking about that Jasmine. I'm talking about my Jasmine to be a different Jasmine. I'm just saying. No, she had messed it up for black women because she voted for in Texas, and that's not going to affect no black women nowhere else. That's not even going to affect black women in Texas. It just mess her up. It's not going to mess nobody else up. She's got to go and rebrand. But it is karma because she was pushing for illegal immigrants, and immigrants voted her ass out. Voted for the other person. That's who she loved, immigrants. So they voted for the other dude. That didn't work out. I mean, we'll be fine. Our problem is we got to learn. Yeah, they closed down the polls early and robbed her. Yep. They closed down the polls early. They cheated. They sent people to polls. They didn't know where to go. Then when they got there, the polls was closed. You understand? Yeah, I don't do yellow faces. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a player, but I don't play. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, they cheated her. I ain't gonna lie, they cheated her. And they cheated her. But she never was focused on, I never heard her focus on voting. She was always focusing on trying to help illegals and help trans and stuff like that. She wasn't focusing on voting. They blindsided her. She wasn't focusing on what she needed to focus on. Real talk. Let me take another break. Black American or black politicians have been catering to the Hispanic vote until the Hispanics get a big enough population where they don't need them no more. And once the Hispanics get a big enough population where they don't need you no more, you ain't gonna never win. Because the Hispanics are coming in and having babies. They pushing babies. And blacks is talking about not having no babies. So listening to these blacks that don't want to have children, that's gonna turn back and bite you in the butt. Because the only reason that you're in as much power as you're in now is because the people before you had babies. If it wasn't for the baby boomers and my group that had all them babies, y'all would already be broke and an underclass. And this is what the younger generation don't know. You living off of babies. Everything you got is because the blacks before you had a lot of children. From the South all the way up. It was a great migration because they had a lot of babies. And if you don't have no babies, you're done. How you going to have an army with no babies? How you going to have politicians and get votes with no babies? How you going to have a lot of customers for your business with no population to spend no money? So the younger generation is dumb, stupid, and slow. Because if you don't have no babies, you ain't going to make no money. Because everybody else going to spend what they own. How many children you got? Because if you ain't got 2 or 3 children, you the one. You the one. It's your fault. Anytime you hear the black man blame the black woman, that means he weak, right? That means she took over him. I never seen so many men say, Pharaoh, the women run everything. The women run everything, Pharaoh. That's what I keep getting in my chat. But yeah, Pharaoh, these women be running over us. That's what the brothers keep telling me. But Pharaoh, what can we do with these women? That's what y'all keep saying to me. I don't think y'all know that's what it's saying. I don't think you know how I'm hearing it. I'm like, oh, so they running over you, huh, punk? You know what I'm saying? What you telling me for? I kept mine in check. I got 6 children. I don't know what you talking about. I got 6. How many you got? I added 6 votes to the pot. How many votes you added to the pot? How many customers you added to the pot? How many black people you added to the pot where we can rent to and we can sell things to? Oh, you don't want to have no babies. So when you open up a store, who's going to come to the store if there's no babies? Nobody. How you got an economy with no babies? How you got an economy with no babies? How? How could you have an economy? How could you have politicians? How could you have anything with no people? How could you defend yourself with no babies? If I got me and my wife and 2 sons and somebody trying to take over the house, I could pass some weapons to my 2 sons. And me and my 2 sons can bang it out with them. You don't got nobody. You don't want to have no children. And you think you're going to have any kind of economical future, any kind of political future, any type of military future, any type of security or anything. You ain't going to have nothing. The most valuable asset in the world is people. They say Jasmine don't got no children. That's affecting her political thought too. She don't have everything she need politically thought because she ain't raising no children. She don't know what parents go through. She don't know what it's like to be a parent. So how's she gonna be a good politician? She don't have no daughter that's looking at her mama's behavior. I bet if she had a daughter, I bet her whole demeanor would be different. I bet you that. I bet you if she had a daughter and a son, I bet her demeanor would be different. If y'all don't have no babies, you're gonna be a fourth class. You ain't gonna be third class. You're gonna be fourth class people. The Hispanics gonna run your life, the whites gonna run your life, and the Asians, they all gonna run you. You ain't gonna have no power. None. You're gonna have to take whatever they do to you. You ain't gonna be able to vote them out. You ain't gonna have no people. You ain't gonna be on the police department because you ain't got no men to be on the police department. So the police gonna be all others policing you. You're gonna be powerless. The only reason we the seventh richest nation in the world because all them babies people before y'all had. Y'all living off of the people in the past. That's a fact. And when this generation that don't have no babies, when y'all get to 50, 60 years old, black people gonna be done. Black people gonna be done. And I'm not gonna hate on her because it's a bunch of men ain't know nothing too. Don't try to point her out. Don't try to point her out as a woman. Your women is only as weak as the men. So if she's got weakness, it's the black man's fault. Y'all notice how the black men, they want to say something about women and don't realize that's a reflection of their leadership? She's a reflection of the black man's leadership. That's what she's a reflection of. I don't know how black men, I don't know why you're so happy when it's your fault. You see how the black man talk about the black woman as if it's not his responsibility for her to be in line? Like, Pharaoh, they do this and they do that and they do that. That sound masculine? That's masculine? Imagine you over here to me complaining about LGBTQ when you ain't got no babies. Ask you how many babies you got. What kind of daddy is you? What kind of granddaddy? What is you? What you got going on? What are you bringing masculine to the table? Nothing. That's why so many women running for office, because the black man is a punk. Why your woman running for office? When you look at this Congress and the Senate, you don't see no lot of white women. You see a whole bunch of white men. We the one disproportionately got women representing us. Nobody else got no disproportion of women representing them but us. Am I lying? It's already just a few of us in office. Why so many of them is women? You look up the ratio. I bet our ratio is more women than theirs. And then y'all want to constantly criticize and hate on LGBTQ men and you ain't got no babies. You might as well be LGBTQ. You ain't got no babies. You got a penis, but you ain't using it. You don't even need it. You might as well go get a surgery. You ain't using it. Tell your woman come holler at Big Pharaoh. I'll put a baby in her. You ain't doing nothing. Your scary ass. tell your woman come holler at me. I'll put a baby in her. Since you ain't putting no babies in them. Y'all ain't putting no babies in these women. Your daddy did, your granddaddy did, your great granddaddy did. My granddaddy had 13. My daddy was the youngest of 13. That's on my daddy's side. On my mama's side, my granddaddy, I don't even know how many he had. I need to count them. I know he only had my mother by my grandmother, but then I think he got like 7 or 8. My granddaddy on my mother's side got like 7 or 8. And my granddad on my father's side had 13. Well, he had 16. 3 of them passed away in birth. And those people that had all those babies, that's the reason you had political power, economic power, NBA, football. You can't play football if you ain't got no sons. You can't play. So now they got to go to Africa to get her. Nobody ain't telling the truth. Why they going to Africa and getting people? Because y'all ain't having no babies. They got to go find some men somewhere. You ain't having none. And the few you having, half of them going to prison doing stupid stuff. Think about it. Don't you know if I was in the Congress or something and I pass in the hallway, I'd be like, Jasmine, come here, let me holler at you. Calm all that down, baby girl. You're making yourself look bad. Calm that down. And what you doing tonight? You single, ain't you? If I was single and I was a congressman, I'll holler at her. She just need a little straightening. She frustrated. she ain't there hollering all the time. She all at a player. She'll be in there just as cool and calm and business like. She'll come to work. They're like, Jasmine, you kind of changed. Girl, I've been dating. I calm all that down. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no husband gonna let his wife crash out, and ain't no wife gonna let her husband crash out. We be looking out for each other. If I'm a politician and I'm out there and it's something my wife see it don't like, and I come on, she say, I ain't like you doing that. Facts. She gonna check me. She gonna say, you shouldn't do that like that. Why you do that? A black woman gonna tell you, why you gotta be the only one? No, she's not married. How you gonna get married? How she gonna get married with these men out here? The men hating on her because she's not married. That's because y'all ain't worth marrying. I ain't trying to disrespect her, brother. I'm trying to get you on point. You not worth marrying. You ain't standing on nothing. You don't want to take your dominant position in the community. You don't. You don't want to take your dominant position in the community. That's why you be on the internet trying to argue with me and try to tell old goofy jokes and all type of feminine behavior that soldiers don't do. All kind of weird comments, yellow faces, smiley faces, goofy jokes. It's like, we see you, punk. How you want to be seen, huh? Why don't you drop a new record? I want to be saved. You know what I'm saying? With all that punk behavior on social media in front of these people. We men. We ain't on all that. Go all over social media and see Big Pharaoh posting a smiley face or a goofy comment. I wish I would, but I got a reputation. But I'm not. If I click on your stuff and it's goofy, I'm be like, it's goofy. I'm gonna go to the next thing. I ain't gonna be like, oh, he goofy. Oh, you is goofy. Smiley face. What the hell? And this goofy push on. At what point you watch something you don't like and you keep watching it? That's not masculine. I got certain brothers I don't like, I just don't watch them. That's not masculine. These women to tell you that their baby daddy left them out there to raise their sons. These women got to raise the boys by themselves. Because you want to have sex, but then when she get pregnant out of a boy, you don't want to be responsible. You just want to go have sex with the next one and the next one. And then these men, they'll get these women pregnant while they're young, right? And leave her with the baby. Then they'll get another one pregnant, leave her with the baby. Then they'll start getting older and get scared. So then they'll have a baby by this last one. Now he's such a good daddy. He's such a good husband. That's because his ass old now. So now he's trying to do something where he should have been dead. The women will tell you, you see him 2 relationships later, he a whole different man. He all responsible. But then with your children, he didn't care. He just bouncing around like a basketball. Sometimes y'all get a woman pregnant, she have a son. Later, she meet me. We get together, she have my baby. Then when you try to drop by, you mad. When I come to the door and tell you, don't come back to this door no more. He all right. Beat it. Now you mad. But you leave. And you don't come back. Because you've been a punk. You know what I'm saying? You don't come back. You don't come back. You don't care nothing about that boy anyway, or that daughter you had. You don't care. I'll raise them. Beat it. They'll call you when they get grown. When they get grown, they'll get back in contact with you. You can be daddy again. I ain't trying to be their daddy. I'm just trying to help their mama. That's all. I ain't trying to be their daddy. I'm just helping the mama. And when I'm in a relationship, everybody eat. Everybody eat. Everybody's my responsibility under my domain. So they not stepchildren, they children. To me, they children. They ain't stepchildren. They all children. And they expect some adults supposed to look out for them. That's how I look at it. Don't bother me. They say, so you're raising another man's son. No, I'm raising a person. I ain't raising nobody's son. I'm raising a boy. That boy gonna grow to be his own man. He not gonna be his daddy boy. He gonna be him. She not gonna be her daddy's daughter. She gonna be her. She gonna be a grown woman having her own children. That's who I'm raising. And I tell you, I got stepchildren. If I call them, I bet they get at you. I bet they come see you. I bet you that. I could sick them on you. But that's another story for the girls too. The girls too. Yeah, the girls I raise that ain't mine, I could sick them on a man. They'll come see your man over me. They'll do you dirty. I'm telling you. Even as adults, they'll call me, Pharaoh, I need $200. I'll send it back to you Friday. I send them the $200, tell them keep it. Go do what you gotta do. Keep it. Yeah, I sent it to him. Tell him keep it. Go do what you gotta do. And so I had to talk about this because we can't depend on Jasmine anyway. She ain't standing on nothing. She should have been mentioning reparations more. She should have thrown that in there. Every time she was getting on Congress, you sitting up here talking this and that, but you ain't talking about reparations for black people, for black Americans, because she probably wouldn't have known foundational black Americans, but throw that out there. Throw that out there. Let that get clipped up on the news. Clip that up on the news. If we don't have, if the brothers and sisters like that don't mention it, who gonna mention it? Who gonna mention reparations if our politicians don't mention it every time they get a camera in their face? If they don't do it, who gonna do it? I didn't see her standing on nothing serious like that. I seen her arguing with Republicans or whatever, but I ain't never seen her stand on nothing for black people like that. She was standing on LGBTQ and transgenders and all that stuff more than anything. She didn't stand up for us like that. Them black people, what? Man, let me tell you something. She still could have won. A lot of black people didn't even try to vote. Black Democrats have lost black people. We don't like the Democratic Party no more. The last Democrat I voted for was the mayor of Chicago. And that's the last one. And he got in there, and what did he do? Nothing. Nothing for black people. Nothing. And I'll be honest, I ain't voting black no more. I ain't vote. I always voted black. I told y'all that. I'm not voting black no more. That's over. Because right now, reparations is serious. If you ain't talking reparations, don't even talk to me. It ain't nothing to talk about. No, you cannot have my vote. You might as well lose. You ain't doing nothing. All these black politicians might as well lose because they're not doing nothing. If you ain't standing on reparations, we don't care if you lose. Bye. What's the difference between a white person that ain't pushing reparations and a black person ain't pushing reparations? It's the same. So what we need you for? We don't need no black politicians if they ain't standing on black issues. And these black politicians, they don't stand up for the Hispanics and everybody. When the Hispanics get in there, they going to stand up for Hispanics. Watch. I bet you the Hispanics ain't going to get in there and stand up for your black ass. They going to stand up talking about immigration and Hispanic people need to this and that and Hispanic people die. That's what they going to do when they get in there. They going to stand up for Hispanic people. But the black ones get in there, they stand up for Hispanic people, gay people, everybody, people except black people. So it didn't matter to me if she lost or not. She wasn't going to do nothing anyway. She wasn't going to do nothing. Every now and then they say something black just to get on record they said it, but they don't be standing on it though. Because they try to be politicians like white people. But see, blacks got to understand you can't be a politician like whites. Because whites, all they got to say is Americans. Why? Because most Americans is white, so they don't have to say white. When they say Americans, that automatically means white. And see, black people ain't picked up on that. When you live in a country that's majority white and they say for Americans this, Americans that, they talking about majority, they talking about whites. I mean, a mayor is only going to get credit in that city. But when you start talking about senators and congressmen and presidents and vice presidents, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people that got a national influence. But the blacks get in there, they be pushing for immigrants. No, and not knowing that immigrants is not going to vote for you. That's the part I don't understand. Immigrants is not going to vote for them. They listen, black politicians that stand up for immigrants are standing up to be replaced by the race of those immigrants. I don't get it. How dumb could you be? If you're standing up for Hispanics, they're going to replace you. What you look like standing up for a group that's going to replace you. Immigrants ain't supposed to have no loyalty to black Americans. Mexicans supposed to have loyalty for Mexicans. Hispanics supposed to have loyalty for those white, Hispanic, Spanish-looking Hispanics. Blacks are the ones supposed to have loyalty for blacks. That's our problem. We expect somebody to have loyalty for us over their own because we do it. Because we put other people over our own, we think other people going to do that. Crazy. And now she got a wake-up call. Because that man had all kind of foreign people standing up there with him. All kind of people. Had one black dude in the crowd when he won. He had a whole bunch of they look like immigrant ladies in the front, for sure. And one black dude, he looked like he was like LGBTQ, so just one in the whole crowd when he won. One. While she standing up for the group that was standing up there with him. I said, boy, this lady crazy. Who's standing up for somebody going to replace you? Make that make some sense. I'm a black man. I'm up there hollering, immigrants, immigrants, immigrants. 2 years later, the race of the immigrants, we in my seat. Make that make some sense. If I'm a politician, I'm saying, listen, we trying to get money. We trying to help black men have more babies. We need more babies. We need the black race to grow if we're going to be politically strong in this country. And you say what you want to say. Them white people are going to like me more than her. They're going to say, he's really standing up for his people. I have to respect that. He's got a good point. Yeah, black people do need to. They're going to say, yeah, he keeping it real, y'all. I tell them I stand up for all Americans, but I need black people to have more babies. We need more input for black people. We played a significant role in building this country. And if you don't like it, tough. You can't roll back slavery. It happened. What you can do is pay reparations. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make changes. Some people say I missed my calling. So I could have been a politician for real. And they would have gonna respect me because I'm black. And yes, if America's not doing good, black people not doing good. So of course I want America to do good. I want everybody to do good. The farmers is white. I support the farmers because they the one growing the food. But we're going to stop mistreating the black farmers, and we're going to give some aid to the black farmers. We're going to stop giving all the aid to the white farmers. Since when we don't need more people to grow food? We don't care what color you is if you're growing food. That's dumb. The food they're growing is all the same color. She wasn't standing on nothing. She ain't got them kind of clips. You need them good clips. She don't got no good clips. Her clips is all, Mr. Senator, though. She don't have no good clips. If I lose, I'm not going to lose like she lose. I'm going to lose. They're going to say he lost because he kept talking about reparations, reparations, reparations. But I tell you this, if I was pushing reparations, I bet you every black person in Texas would have found a way to vote for me. I bet you that. They would have got up early. They would have took off work to vote for me. I would have blew dude out the water. Down there in that black district like that, and you weren't pushing reparations like that, I would have been on the thing. Foundational Black Americans, yeah, that's what we are now. And we're going to get out and vote, and we're going to get our reparations. I would get all the clips. They had me on every show want to argue with me. So you want reparation foundation? Yeah. I say, yeah. I would have had all the clips. I would have won. It'd been a landslide victory. She didn't have nothing to stand on. And she ain't really paying attention to the algorithm. The algorithm now, if you ain't talking reparations, if you ain't talking black people not voting for you. Black people flipping red because they like, listen, if you're not going to do nothing, I might as well vote red. At least red going to make the country run good. So if you're not going to help black people, let me vote for somebody going to help the whole country, and I'll get in where I fit in. Right now in Chicago, they talking about flip Chicago red. The Democratic Party, black people do not like the Democratic Party at all because they're not helping black people and they're not helping the country. They ain't doing neither one. I can see what Trump trying to do. He's trying to get the bag. I see it. I see what he's trying to do. He's trying to get the bag. He's taking a hit, but he's trying to get the bag. I see it. He's trying to get the bag. If we throw the illegals out, that's more money for America. They just don't see it. Throw them illegals out. Now they got to hire, right? All right then. So now jobs open for real Americans. That's what he's doing. He done went down there and took that oil, which is going to help our gas prices. They ain't going to have to ship it so far, and they got more oil in Venezuela. They're going to be able to grow more fruits and vegetables. I see what he's doing. I don't like him, but he's doing a good job. He's doing a better job than Harris would have did. She's too busy running around with immigrants and stuff. But it would have been a good look for females, but it wouldn't necessarily been a good look for the economy. We need some money. So I don't know. I don't know what Jasmine is doing, but she definitely shot herself in the foot. She loved the immigrants, and they voted for dude. And she said black people didn't get to vote. I thought you loved the immigrants. You shouldn't have needed the black votes. Why couldn't you win with the immigrant votes? See what I'm saying? Why she couldn't win with the LGBTQ votes? Why she can't win with the immigrant votes and the LGBTQ? Why you needed the black votes? Why them people you stood up for didn't vote for you? That's what I would answer. That's what I would answer. You love the immigrants. You love the gay people. Why they didn't vote for you then? I'm in Chicago that has a large LGBTQ community, and many of the white LGBTQ are still racist. Okay? They are still racist. There is no love between the blacks and the whites in the LGBTQ movement. That's a fact. They gay, but they racist. They separatists. They don't mess with us like that. They have their own white gay stuff. That's a fact. That stuff ain't multicultural. That's not multicultural. Oh no, that's for them. That's not for you. They don't date you. Next time you see some gay men, a white gay man, I bet he with another white gay man. You ain't really see them gay mixed couples too much. Don Lemon, but it looked like dude pimping him. I ain't saying that's what's happening, but that looks suspicious. And I ain't saying it is suspicious. I just said it looks suspicious. To me. It looked like he just got Don out there for the money. Even the way he be looking, the way he be standing off. You seen Don Lemon and his mate? Black people got to wake up. We go to gas stations we don't own. We go to stores we don't own. We spend all our money with people we don't own none of the businesses. And we can send all our money to everybody else. We don't have no more black pride. We should boycott them gas stations, boycott a gas station so it closes, and then let a black person go buy it. You're giving your money to people that's sending it somewhere else. It's never going to come back to the community. We need to spend our money with people that's going to spend it back in the community so it can circulate. And these politicians, if they ain't talking reparations, that's the talking point. If you ain't talking that, we don't want to hear it. Everything else you're talking, we can get from the Republicans. So if the Democrats ain't talking reparations, they might as well go park their car. They liable not to win the presidency for the next two presidencies because they don't got nothing. They ain't standing on nothing. They not. They ain't got no programs worth nothing. The only way they're going to win the next presidential election or the midterms is if the Republicans mess up so bad that people mad and they want to change. That's the only way. That if the farms get so bad and the tariffs don't work so bad and the war turns out really bad and the gas get really high, they'll lose. But that's the only reason. Trump is either going to help the Republicans or they're going to crash. They're going to lose everything. So he better hope whatever plans he got, he better hope they work. Because if not, it's over with. That's why he just fired the Christie chick. Gone. A lot of them smiling and grinning. They don't know Donald. Donald going to fire him. By the time, if Donald do 4 years, by the time he gets to the fourth year, none of them people there will be there but the vice president because he can't fire him. He going to fire all the rest of them. That's how he got on there for the apprentice. You're fired. He's not a, you know what I'm saying? They'll see. How do we get FBA politicians? We have to raise them. We have to raise them. The only way Black America's going to get somewhere is the same way the Italians got somewhere. You got to stop giving your children all these choices. The Italians, they got to a point where they got two sons. You're going to be a banker. You're going to be a politician. I don't want to hear anything. That's what it's going to be. If you want daddy to pay for you to go to school, you got to go to school to be a doctor, and you got to go to school to be a politician. That's how the Italians got out that situation. They forced their sons and their daughters to be what they wanted them to be and what the Italians needed. Blacks ain't doing that. You can look it up. You even see it in the gangster movies. Kennedy was a bootlegger, and he made John do what? John and Robert became politicians, didn't they? And the only mistake was that the gangsters, they was raised by a gangster. John became a politician, Robert did, and Robert started fighting against the gangsters. And the gangsters like, we don't want to put you in office. So they unalived both of them because they turned on the mob. And the mob put them in office. You got to have more children. You got to have at least two, preferably 3 or 4 or 5, but 2 would work. And you got to make sure that they go to school to better the race, period. If they don't, they got to do whatever they can do whatever they want to do, but they got to do it on their own. And then when you see them trying to do something different and it looks like it's doing good economically, then you put money in it. You know, your son, he don't want to be a politician. He want to be some kind of musician or something, or a rapper or something, and he get out there and they take off, he start making money that can take care of his family, then yeah, you invest in him. And then he gonna have some sons. You tell your grandson, listen, your daddy a rapper. You ain't gonna be no rapper. You see what I'm saying? You push that, you tell your son, make sure Junior asks, and he gonna say yeah. Because if he get in the music business, he ain't gonna want his sons in it. For my daughter, when she was little, I told her, go into medical, go into medical. We made her go into medical. She went into medical, she's fine. I didn't know that principle until I had her. My middle daughter, she's in the tech industry. My oldest son, he's in Hollywood and movies and graphics and working behind the scenes doing automation for these big companies. He's doing great. He's cartoonist and all that and do graphics and all that. Let's take a break. My grandson, as soon as he get about maybe 8th grade, I'm going to start him a business. I'm going to get it trademarked and all that. I know he might not stick with it, but I just want to get his feet wet while he's young. I think he want to sell sneakers. I think he want to sell classic sneakers. I'm going to find out what he want to do, what he got passion for, and I'm going to set it all up for him. All he got to do is get on his computer and do what he do. But you don't get a chance to be no bum. None of that. You don't get a chance to be in no gang. I raised my stepson and my youngest son in O-Block. They're both grown, fine, never been to jail, never been to prison, productive. None of them is BDs. All the gang members knew around there, don't play with my children. I got that straight early. I had to go out on the block a couple times. I got that straight. Hey, miss them. If you just insist on gangbanging, holler at me. I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't going to be no ganging. It's going to be all banging. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. I got that straight. Don't say nothing to them. Don't say nothing to them. Yeah, don't say nothing to them. They not on that. They can't do none of that. So I made sure my son and my stepson always had the newest game. I didn't have to worry about them. As soon as a new model come out, they got it. It's an Xbox in the living room. It's a PlayStation in their room. The other children ain't doing that well. You can't fail. None of them failed a class. You can't fail. You can't fail no class in my house. Everybody graduated on time. Ain't none of that failing. None of that. We're not doing none of that. Everybody graduated. We're not doing that. You know, I'm not giving them no options. And so I feel sorry for Jasmine. Maybe she could regroup, but she got to clean her image up. She got to stop beefing and really work on some programs. Sometimes when you in there beefing in Washington, you forgetting your constituents back at home. She could have been back in Texas talking to them more so that she could eventually been the governor. She was in Washington talking to them too much. But Washington don't vote for you. Texas vote for you. She should have spent less time in there arguing with them goofies in Washington, and she should have spent more time on TV, local TV shows in Texas and finding out what's going on in Texas, and she should have got her reputation for that. She got her reputation arguing. That's what she's known for. She's known for arguing with the Senate and the Congress. That's not a good look. That's her reputation. And while she was pushing immigrants, they went and changed the map on her so the black people couldn't vote. They had to go to a different area to vote. When they went to vote, because I got people down there told me, when they went to a different area to vote, they closed early so they couldn't vote. They did all type of criminal activities. But when the criminal run the country, they ain't going to prosecute themselves. She played it too close. She should have won by a landslide because she should have been in Texas for the last 2 years, pushing the line. She should have been raising money. She should have been doing things at all those communities so that them people love her. Dude wouldn't have had a chance. He wouldn't have got no votes. She would have blew him out the water. Sometimes when you black, you still got to run for office. You got to take care of everybody. You got to take care of the whites, everybody. You can push for black, but if you the senator or the congressman, you got to work for everybody. You feel me? Real talk. I don't know what you're talking about. That's what you got to do. She just didn't function correctly. I don't know. She didn't function correctly. You know what I'm saying? She didn't make that move that she was supposed to make. She let her reputation be known for being confrontational too much. She wasn't appealing no more. Like on this channel, I get all kind of trolls and stuff. But sometimes I'll say something to them. But if I just keep responding to every goofy that come over here, people won't want to watch me because people don't want to watch me talk to no losers. You know what I'm saying? They don't want me spending no time with no loser that ain't got no life. You know what I'm saying? I get a lot of losers come over here ain't got no life. And I'm looking at them because you ain't got no life because you following me. So it don't really matter what you say. You definitely ain't got no life. How much energy you want me to spend on you? And then we men, and you know how men is, if men get that much obsessive, you're supposed to come holler at another man. You ain't supposed to be on social media. So that's where she made a mistake. Too much confrontational with people that can't help you get no votes. They can't help you make no money. They're not going to help you do nothing. So how much time you want to be in there? Why she got to be the black female face of the Democratic Party? Let some of them men say something. If they don't say nothing, don't say nothing. She sacrificed herself. And imagine running behind immigrants, instead of your own people. Then they redistrict the area and then immigrants vote you out. They go down there and cheat you in your own state, redistrict everything so you can't get the votes. Because Republicans run the state. Democrats don't run nothing but their mouth. Democrats run some cities, but Democrats don't run no states. Republicans run all the states. They might have a Democratic governor, but they still run the state. They still the ones making all the money. And the only way a Democrat gonna win is if a Republican mess up really bad and they just want some change, so they'll vote for the Democrat. Other than that, they're not voting for no Democrat. And Democrats have pigeonholed themselves. You know? So I don't know how she's gonna regroup and come back. She might run for some other. She might run for some other office. They was telling her to focus on immigrants, and they talking about the Republicans cheating by redistricting, but the Democrats are the one cheated by trying to let a bunch of illegal Hispanics in and get votes. The Democrats were trying to cheat, and all the Republicans did was try to offset the cheating. They trying to say the Republicans cheating for redistricting. No, the Democrats cheated by trying to let all these illegal aliens vote and have licenses and take jobs, and got it where I got to know Spanish to get a job. How you in America and I got to know Spanish? I don't need to know no Spanish. There's Germans over here. There's French over here. I don't got to learn no Germany and no German, no French. So why I got to cater to these people? You see what I'm saying? When you push for anybody other than your own people, they're going to get in and they're going to vote for their own people. So I really don't understand black politicians standing up for Hispanic immigrants when they're going to get in there and they're going to vote for Hispanic. They're not going to even vote for you. And typically when they say immigrants, they talking about Hispanics, because Hispanics can run right across the border. Africans got to fly. Africans can't get here as easy. Nobody can get here as easy as them. Haitians can't get here easy. They got to fly. Jamaicans, all them. That's what they're going to do, swim. But you could walk across the border from South and Central America, Central America. If you're in South America and you make it to Central America, you could just walk across. So it's a bad idea to support them, because when they get in here, listen, when I was coming up in the 70s, by the time I got to LA in the early 80s, they was pushing this black and brown love, black and brown unity, trying to help the Mexicans get citizenship and come up here. The Mexicans started coming to LA. At first, everything was cool. After so many Mexicans got up there, they started firebombing black people's house in Compton. They started gangbanging against the blacks. They started attacking the blacks. And they took all the blacks, a lot of the neighborhoods that was black, the Mexicans took it. The same Mexicans that black people was talking black or brown love. The Mexicans pretended it was black and brown love when their numbers was low. But as soon as their numbers got big, they threw black and brown love out the window. You don't hear no more black and brown love. It's going to end up just like Los Angeles, California. If you keep pushing for immigrants, your whole state and city going to be Hispanic. And then they're going to be dissing you. They're going to create their own gangs. They're going to be attacking your gangs, because that's your little military. And they're going to take it from you. And then everywhere you go, you're going to have to know Spanish, because they ain't going to learn no English. You know how many places here Hispanic, they don't know no English? You got to be bilingual. You got to talk to them. They don't know how to talk to you. They come to where you live at. They come to an English-speaking country, and they telling you to get a job, right? To get a job, you need to learn how to understand Spanish in an American country. Here go the thing. If black politicians are about money and they don't pay no attention and they let Hispanics come in, they ain't gonna make no money. They're gonna lose money. So they're not even really about money. Because how you gonna make money when you promoted people gonna come in and push you out the way? Now, it's not like Hispanics is the enemy that's going to come push you out the way. It's the fact that Hispanics live just south of the border. There's no way you're going to be able to keep up with them as population. I'm not hating on Hispanics. I'm saying common sense to tell you if Mexico is south of the border and, and Guatemala and all that, you ain't never going to have enough numbers for them. They can easily outnumber you. And so your power is going to go down. You ain't going to have no voting power. Now, if Africa was down there, I bet they'd shut the border. The Africans can't get over here. The people of Brazil is far away. They can't hardly get here, the Black Brazilians. So it's not like I'm against Hispanics. I'm just saying they got big numbers. And politically, if you push for a lot of Hispanics, you pushing for them to vote for their own. Like that's what they supposed to do. And you're not going to get no votes. So now Black Americans, you're going to have to be here like Asian Americans. I mean, Asian Americans don't have no votes. But the difference between Black Americans and Chinese Americans is the Chinese don't care if they get no votes. They just go build their little Chinatowns and they China neighborhoods, and they build their economy right in their neighborhood. So we don't need political offices and stuff to get nowhere. What we need is to build up our communities and create our own jobs and create our own economy in our community. That's what we need. Politics is not the answer. Politics is not the answer. It doesn't matter who you vote for when you go to a gas station in a Black community and Arabs own all the gas stations. You need to get those gas stations. You need to boycott one particular gas station, and when they go out of business, you buy it. And as long as it's not a Black person, they don't buy no gas from it. Pick one. Then once you get that one closed and a Black person do it, then pick another one and systematically shut them down. Because these millionaire, multimillionaire Blacks, they ain't going to come to the Black neighborhood and donate no houses in the Black neighborhood to keep it Black. They ain't going to do nothing like that. They're going to go buy a whole bunch of expensive watches and a bunch of jewelry and planes and a bunch of cars. When they can come to the community and buy houses for $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $100,000, they wouldn't even miss it. To make sure that Black families keep homes in the Black community, keep these Black communities vibrant. They could rebuild Inglewood. They could rebuild Roseland. They could rebuild these Black communities. Hating on Hispanics or whites, that ain't the answer. The answer is to take care of your own people. You can't hate on Hispanics. Hispanics doing what they supposed to do. They supposed to come here. They supposed to build. They supposed to build up for themselves. What I look like hating on them for doing what they supposed to do, that's what they supposed to do. They supposed to run for office. They supposed to vote for their own. They supposed to move up. That's not their fault. We supposed to do the same thing. And you could do that without hating. You don't got to hate the other person just because you're doing it for yourself. If you at home and you trying to raise money for your children to take care of the household, that don't mean you hate the house next door. This doesn't mean you got to go to war with no other races or nothing like that. Just do for yourself and stop going to war with yourself. If you watch me, you'll notice the most haters I got is other Black men. I don't know if you notice that. You don't see no whites coming over here trolling me. You don't see no Asians trolling me. You don't see no Hispanics. You know who the main person hate me, that don't know me, that try to interrupt my life, is a Black brother. Every time. It's a Black brother. As soon as he see me, he just can't stand me. He don't even see that he everything wrong with the Black community. I'm not I don't know his social media. I'm not trolling him. I'm minding my own business. A black brother go out the way to come into my life and hate me on the internet. And that's the typical black man that's keeping us down. We got a lot of good brothers, don't get me wrong. But the brothers that's keeping us down, that's their mentality. If a black man run for office, they'll hate on him. They'll find everything wrong with him. But if anybody else run for office, they don't see nothing wrong with him. Nothing. They don't say nothing. Not a thing. And then when the black man run for office, he see everybody but black people too. He just like the brothers that hate on him, he a hater too. Haters. And then everybody say, what can we do about the gang violence? How can you do something about the gang violence when the young black man has learned to be a hater from the older black men? And haters gonna hate, and they gonna gangbang. Duh. When you come, right? When you come to my page hating, if you was in Chicago, you would be gangbanging. If you did that, right? If you did that in a black community, you would be gangbanging. People would get at your glamour. You would be causing violence in your own community. For all the black men, you come in this chat saying all that. If you was outside Chicago like that, you wouldn't last a day. You wouldn't last a day. Because there'd be other haters just like you, and they'd be ready to hate just like you a hater. They'll be ready to respond to that hate quick. You wouldn't be able to be a half a hater. You'd have to be a real hater. Where I live at. When it comes to business, right, we don't really support our businesses, and we don't really do good business. It's just like Jasmine. To me, Jasmine don't do good politics. She tacky looking. She not trying to look like a politician. Black Muslims ain't my brothers. They Muslims. And anybody that's got a fanatical religion, they don't deal with brotherhood. They only deal with religion. So when a black person gets brainwashed by Islam, they're not your brother. That's why you got so many black Muslims unaliving Africans in East Africa, unaliving Africans in Nigeria. So when you say black Muslims, you don't know what you're talking about. Because black Muslims not black. They Muslims. They're not black. They're going to turn on black for Islam. They Muslims. That's a fact. So you don't make no sense. You ain't making no sense. Because black Muslims are not black. Black Muslims are unaliving Africans left and right. And they both black. So what difference do it mean because they black? Tell that to the black Muslims in Africa unaliving black people. Tell them that. This the big leagues. Make sure you know what you're saying when you come over here. We have no relationship with black Muslims. With anybody that has a fanatical religion will turn on their race for that religion. And they have let Arab Muslims convert them into Islam and turn them against their own people. And that is a fact. They follow Arab Muslims. They don't follow blacks. So black Muslims, a lot of times, ain't worth nothing. They're brainwashed. Fanatical religion is destroying black people. To be honest with you, they using them to destroy Africa. That's one of the main people that Arabs are using to conquer Africa. Black Muslims. Convert them, make them fanatics, and send them down there to go to war with their own brothers and sisters in Africa. Muslims don't look at you as no brother unless you are in Islam. If you're not in Islam, you're an infidel. It's safe to say a lot of black Muslims is traitors to their race. I'm just saying. How many black Muslims you see standing up? Oh, there's definitely race in Islam. There's definitely race in Islam. It's definitely discrimination against the black ones. You don't know what you're talking about either. You didn't see that time they unalived all them black ones when they went to the Hajj and threw them over in a cage, all the bodies? Go look it up. Why you over here lying to these people? Ain't no race in Islam. Why you lying? You lying. You're definitely lying. Definitely. If you don't know, I ain't got. I'm not going. I don't have time to argue with you. Come back tomorrow. Go look it up. You already know. You playing. You playing like you don't know. You know. You know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you're not qualified to talk to me. If you don't know this, what I'm saying, you're not qualified to talk to me. Show me a black face in leadership in Iran or in Saudi Arabia. Show me one black face. Checkmate. Boy, you ain't no black face and no leadership in no Islamic country. Why you over here playing? I ain't waste my time. All you gotta do is go watch videos of them Arabs in them gas stations in the black community and tell me ain't no racism. Boy, if you don't stop, I'll really be outside. Boy, they don't even like you. You come in that gas station, buy what you want, and get out. Everybody know he lying. When they was the first ones to enslave Africans, he don't got no knowledge to deal with Big Pharaoh. The first slavery black people went under was under Islam for 700 years, under Arabs. Checkmate. That was the first slavery. It was longer than the slavery in America. Slavery in America was 400 years. The slavery under Islam was 700 years under Islam. So if you're a Muslim, go study. You got to study. You got to get your studying up. Your studying, you ain't studying. You're supposed to know more than what you know. You got to study before you come over here. The first slavery in Africa was under Islam. I'm trying to tell her. Let him go over there. He'll see. He's just talking. That's why Elijah Muhammad separated. Farrakhan went back all up under him like that. That's a whole nother video for another day. Elijah taught us different. Listen, when you live in one of the biggest cities in America, you don't be want to hear no make-believe. I be outside. I'm talking about what's really outside. And if he believes they're not racist, he ain't outside. For sure. They only come in our neighborhoods to pillage you, sell us bad meat and everything. Nothing they be selling be halal. They had gas stations, they sell needles and everything for people that shoot up. Yeah. And they supposed to be holy. They supposed to be under Allah. Man, you should see the stuff they sell though. Nothing they sell fits their religion. Make it make sense. The baggies that people bag up, they sell them. The scales that they use to weigh the illegal substances, they sell them. The holy Islamic people sell all that. In the black community, they ain't sell it to their own. They get the gas station in our community. They don't even eat none of that stuff they sell us. They don't eat that stuff. Do we know how many confrontations we had in Chicago with them? Do we know what they have said to some of our women? Dude over here lying. Trying to sell you a belief system that nobody practices. There is no race of Islam. Please. Racism ain't no mistake. So I don't know what you're talking about. Racism ain't no mistake. What you mean mistakes? Racism is a mistake. If somebody don't like you because of the color of your skin, that's a mistake. And they don't like you their whole life. A mistake is something that you make a mistake. You don't live a mistake, so you can live a mistake. I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe you behind in the chat. I don't know. Sometimes people making comments from way back. He might not be up to this point. Yeah, they had a counter up high and they look down on you. And the way they deal with you is, you know. And that's what we need to be concentrating on, getting them gas stations and stuff like that. That's my point, instead of who running for office. It don't matter who win office when you got to go spend your money with all these people in the community, Chinese restaurant in the neighborhood, Arabs in the neighborhood selling you stuff, all different type of foreigners in your neighborhood selling you stuff in your neighborhood. But when you go to their neighborhood, you ain't in their neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? You ain't in their neighborhood, but they in your neighborhood. Typically, when you go in the neighborhood where the Arabs is at, right? He experienced racism. He just a liar. If he black, He experienced racism. Typically, where the Arabs live at, they live in a neighborhood where the Asians, it be Arabs, it be Indians. That's where their neighborhoods be at. So when you go to their neighborhood, it be Indians from India, Asians, and Arabs, Pakistanis, and all them. They live in a neighborhood, all of them. That's where they live at. Like a Middle Eastern, Asian neighborhood. And then that's where they got all their restaurants and all their food. That's why they buy all their clothes, right? You know, the Indian women, you know how they wear their clothes with all the gold on it? Because I always compliment the Indian women. They be having on some fly clothes. So I'm like, boy, y'all clothes always got gold. They always got metallic gold on all their clothes. You'll hardly never see an Asian woman without gold on her clothes. Yeah, they be up there on Devon. Yep. Over there. I'm cool with them though, because I get merchandise for some Arab brothers. They cool though, as far as doing business, but they not messing with you. But they'll do business with you. They'll be cordial about business, but they ain't got no black person in there working. They family in there working. You know what I'm saying? They family in there working. They don't mess with you like that. They'll take your money. They'll be nice. They'll be cordial. But that's it. That's as far as that goes. You know what I'm saying? They be cordial. I do business with some of them. They cool to do business with. They look out for me. Call me when these shirts come in. Call me when you get smalls. Call me when you get large. You know, for my businesses, they look out for me. They got the good prices. They get all the stuff in. I can go in there. I could buy 3 shirts wholesale. Can't beat that. Where you can buy 3 shirts, $3 a shirt? Nowhere. Top of the line. Any color you want, any size, any brand. They got it. So I mess with them on the business side. You know what I'm saying? I'm always respectful. They always respectful. They don't necessarily hate you, but they just do, you know, after themselves. Now the Indians is definitely worse than the Arabs. The Arabs is a little brotherly sometimes. Not in their heart necessarily, but you know, the Indians won't say nothing to you though. They don't like you at all. But they got class system in India. And the blacks in India are called untouchables. You know what I'm saying? The black ones is called untouchables. They don't let them come to the United States. They only let the other ones come. The real light-skinned ones. You don't hardly ever see the dark Indians. Over there, they call them untouchables, and they got them living horrible in India. Many of these people practice colorism in the lands where they come from. Like when you go to South America, they don't really deal with the blacks in South America, them white-looking Hispanics. They don't deal with the black ones. The black Mexicans just got citizenship about 6 years ago, and they've been there forever. Fought the revolution against the Spanish, and they still treated them. They treat them bad down there. Brazil. They trying to own stuff, but that's why they in the Democratic Party, because the Republicans will get them out of here. That's why a lot of black Americans, including myself, feel that the Republican Party is better for blacks because the Republican Party will clear all of them out here, and there will only be white Americans and black Americans and traditional, original Hispanic and Asian Americans. But all these funny style ones, they're going to send them back home, which is going to open up more opportunity for us. I really feel like the Trump administration is opening opportunity for foundational black Americans. When they deport all them people and then people have to leave all them stores, we can go get them. I believe that. I believe that the white American government honors foundational black Americans. I believe that. I think they respect us. I think the younger generation coming up have came to grips with these people came here in slavery. They've been here. I believe that white America has came to grips with that. But I believe that a lot of things white America has been mischaracterized. Just because they don't want you living in their neighborhood don't mean they're racist. They just want to live in a white neighborhood. You should want to live in a black neighborhood. I don't believe that's racist. I believe that's just wanting to be around your own kind. I don't believe that's necessarily racist. I believe they're like, you go to your neighborhood and fix it up. Why you want to come over here? There's plenty places to live. I agree. Because typically that black person that just got to go live out there with white people don't like black people, typically. Am I lying? The black people that just want to live out there and live in a white neighborhood don't really like black people. That's why they moved out there. They don't even like their own people. They don't. In some cases, they feel like they got to move somewhere, but I don't see why they would have to. Why can't you build up a black community that's nice? Why you got to move somewhere else where somebody else at? Why you don't build your own? Since you so smart and you such a great business black man and woman, why can't you build your own? Why you always got to run behind somebody else's stuff to act like it's better than yours? This is what Claude Anderson said when he said they thought white people's ice was colder. I just didn't like him generalizing and saying black people. He should have said some black people. That's why I was beefing with Claude Anderson, because my mom and them came from Alabama and they didn't think white people's stuff was better. So don't tell people that. Don't generalize like that. Because if you want to say black people thought white people's stuff was better, Claude Anderson, you black, that means you too. If you don't think like that, what make you think you the only one? If Claude don't think like that, what make him think he the only black that don't think like that? There's a lot of blacks think like Claude. So don't generalize us like that. When I see him, I'm going to tell him. Other than that, I got love for him, but just don't say that. I'm not young. I'm close to Claude's age. He older than me, though. But don't be saying that about my mom and daddy and them. And I'm going to tell him that. I took offense to that. My mom and daddy ain't never thought white people's stuff water was colder than ours. Stop saying that. And I don't know nobody in Alabama that believed that. And I went to Alabama every year. Stop saying that. I don't know no people in Mississippi and Alabama that think like that. Stop. That's just a few black people. Don't generalize us like that. Black people's mind their business, living their own culture, living their own life. They ain't trying to compete with no white people. We don't dress like them. We don't do nothing like that. Not culturally. We always got our own swag and everything. They copy us. We don't copy them. We the zoot suiters. We the ones that wore the suits a certain kind of way. We didn't wear the suits like them. We wore it the way we like it. So I didn't like that. Other than that, I still mess with him, but that really pissed me off. I drug Claude for about 4 videos. I finally let him alone. I didn't like that. I didn't like that. I ain't gonna let nobody disrespect my grandparents and stuff like that. My granddaddy worked on the farm. He was not competing with no white people. He didn't think nothing white was better than him. Cut that out. That's disrespecting Black Wall Street and all the stuff we had. We had businesses everywhere. So how we, come on. We did better in the 70s, but that was from people from down south. And that was people from down south. So when they came up from down south, and that was right after we was free, because we wasn't free till 1970. So of course, once we got free in 1970 with the Civil Rights Bill, of course, black people did well. And black people are doing well now. We just is way more. It's 50 million of us, so we got a lot that ain't doing well, which makes it look like one-sided. So because so many of us aren't doing well, people say we're not doing well. But there's a whole bunch of us that are doing well. It's just you see the ones that's not, and then we tend to generalize. Because here in Chicago, we got lots of black millionaires. We got a lot of black millionaires, and we got a lot of black thousandaires. We got a lot of blacks got money. We the seventh richest nation in the world. So we doing better than all the other nations under us. And we only 50 million strong. But we the seventh richest nation in the world. We richer than almost all the countries in Africa. Not combined, but individually. So we're not doing that bad. Okay. But we could do better. One reason it appears we're not doing as good as we was is because we've moved into other industries instead of building our own. Too many black people had jobs to open barbershops and stores. They was making too much money. So who gonna open a store? The people that come from other countries, they ain't got no job. So yeah, they'll open a store. But my mommy worked for the government. My daddy drove the bus. They ain't gonna open no store. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't that we didn't open the stores because we lazy. We didn't open the stores because we getting big money. We getting money. We get money. So, we don't have the same mindset of somebody come from Jamaica that's used to little stores selling their coconuts and stuff. We big time. We past that. Immigrants, I was talking to my Jamaican friend. He said, why y'all don't open stores like we do? I said, because y'all come from Jamaica where y'all selling stuff on the block. We don't come from that. Straight right off the 60s. We working for the post office. We working for the government. We working for Social Security. We got jobs. Who got jobs gonna go open a store? Y'all open stores because y'all didn't have no jobs in Jamaica. Y'all come from where he said, that's a good point, Mom. I never think about that. I say, yeah, you come from Jamaica. You used to selling your coconuts. You used to selling that. We come into the game working. We ain't coming to the game with no store selling no coconuts or selling nothing. We ain't come from that. We come in at the top. When I was 20 years old, I worked for the U.S. Treasury Department. What do you mean open a store? I was getting money. Right, we don't have a street vendor culture. I came straight out of high school. I worked for a book factory. I went to music college. Then I worked for a stock exchange. When I worked for a stock exchange, I was probably 19, maybe 20. I was a baby. I was working for a stock exchange. I left that. I worked for the U.S. Treasury Department. I'm not going to be thinking about opening up no record shop or nothing like that. But you know the biggest reasons why we didn't open stores? I bet you don't know. Let's take a break. Put the comments in the chat. Why you think Black Americans didn't open stores? Does anybody know the answer? Why Black American culture wasn't built to open stores? Put it in the comments. No, the reason that Black Americans in the 70s didn't start opening stores because stores started closing. And places like Chicago and places like that, they start opening malls. And when they open malls, all the white stores close. All the white stores close. Stores are just coming back. No, because stores was closed. Because you could go to a mall and do all your shopping inside. You didn't have to look for parking. You didn't have to drive. If I'm looking for a red shirt, I got to drive on 87th Street. If they don't got it, now I got to drive to another shopping area. But if I go to Evergreen Plaza, if I go to Ford City, if I go to a mall, I can go to store to store to store and still be inside. So when we was little, my mother would take us to the mall because she could take us to the mall. She can go to a locker, put our coats in the locker, and we can walk around in the mall for 2 hours, 3 hours. We can go eat. We can go see a movie. We can go shop. And we don't have to worry about rain. We don't have to worry about snow. It's free parking. So the malls closed all the stores. So nobody in the 70s or the 80s or the 90s would have been thinking about opening a store. Because everybody was going to Ford City, Lincoln Mall, River Oaks, Evergreen Plaza, and all of that. All the stores closed. The lady that had the little candy store closed, white lady. The white dude that had the popcorn stand closed. All the white businesses closed too. When we would get out of school on the weekend, guess where me and our friends would meet? At the mall. Because you can be inside. It don't matter if it's raining. It don't matter if it's snowing. It don't matter nothing. You don't need no big old coat on. You don't have to park from here to there, to there, to there, to there to shop. And the malls lasted until about 10 years ago. 10 years ago, the malls crashed. But that's the reason nobody was opening stores. State Street was a ghost town. Do the research. Downtown Chicago, State Street was a ghost town. They was trying to figure out how to get everybody to come back. I would say stores came back about, I'm 64. Stores came back about 20 years ago. About 20 years ago, stores started coming back. By then, we was already used. I mean, who's going to think about opening a store by then? We already set in our ways. So that's why we didn't open stores. And that's why there were stores available for immigrants, because all those places was closed. Because it was much more easier to go to one mall. You can go to JCPenney's, you could go to Carson's, You could go to Montgomery Wards, and you can go to all the stores, one row here, one row there. When my daughters came to town last year, I took them to the mall. I took them to the mall that's got all the Gucci and Louis and all that in one mall. We can't drive around from here to there to there. If I go downtown, I got to pay parking. I got to go to 2 stores if they ain't got nothing, you know. So we went out to the fashion mall out there by the airport. That's where everybody still shop. You go to the fashion mall out there by the airport and see, go in the parking lot. There's hardly no parking. Sears had a big footprint on 79th Street, but when the malls opened, people didn't go to Sears no more. Sears didn't get in the malls. Carson's jumped in the malls quick. J.C. Penney's jumped in the malls quick, but Sears didn't, so they lost. The only ones won was the ones that got in the malls. The ones that didn't get in the malls lost. Who's going to go to Sears way on 79th Street? And if they ain't got what you want, now what? Whereas if I go to a mall, I walk down here to Carson's. If they don't got what I want, I can go down to the other store. I can go to other stores. How many men's clothing stores? How many women's clothing stores? There's food. There's everything. What you want is in the mall. Remember Jesus say, shopping at the mall. Where everybody go in Atlanta? To the mall. That stopped you from having to drive around. Oh my God. If you're trying to find an outfit, you want to go where it's a whole bunch of clothes so you can put together an outfit. You don't want to go over here and buy the pants, pay parking, drive over here to try to find a shirt. Try to find a shirt. Because when you're in the mall, you're trying to find something. But at least you can look in one building. You don't have to keep jumping in the car. So that's what shut down stores. And then when you get to like 20 years ago, stores started to come back and the malls closed. Mostly because they ain't got no babies. They ain't got no babies no more. People ain't having no babies. That's why I go back to the same thing. You're not having no babies. The malls was popular because the high school kids was in there, whether mom and daddy in there or not, we in that bad boy. We in there every Saturday. We at Evergreen Plaza. Come on, man. If you got all this stuff, all these restaurants, and we can walk around, we don't have to have no money. You know, we just in there. It's a big old building with heat. We in there. And the movie theater's there. Ford City Movie Theater. Evergreen Plaza Movie Theater. Meet your friends there. It's up. So that's why we really didn't do stores. Because stores was like, and stores are still suffering. Downtown is closed. Stores are still not doing that well. These foreigners, they go into poor areas where people kind of walking around and then you got to buy something there. That's why they buy gas stations, because you got to get gas. That's why they get gas stations. Yeah, they trying to bring the high-end outlets back with designer clothes. That's what's at the fashion outlet, all designer. And the fashion outlet, let's say they make this shirt and they make a mistake on a stitch. They'll sell it at the fashion outlet for cheaper. So it still might be a Louis Vuitton, but it got some kind of flaw, but can't nobody see it. So it's on sale. So, you know, you got a queen, you take her out there, boom, she get 2 or 3 Gucci shirts on sale. All she knows when she go and put it on, she fly. Nobody don't, you know what I'm saying? Or at the main Gucci store, if they got something there too long and they got to bring in new stock, they send all that stuff to the fashion outlet so they could put the new stuff in it. So they send it to their Gucci store out there and let them sell it while they stock up with the new stuff. But it's somewhere, it's a good place to go on a date with a queen because you inside, you can get some chocolate pretzels, whatever your little thing, and you inside. You make a date of it. So that's why stores are still struggling because it's hard to get people to come to the store. It's not easy to get people to drive to your store. So a lot of times that's why if you got a store, you like clothing, you're going to make the most money if that whole row is clothing stores. So if you can get into an area where that whole row is clothing stores, you can make some money. But if you're the only clothing store, you ain't going to do that good because nobody's going to drive over there to buy no fit. So they start opening up those little mini malls, right? Right? They got the little mini malls you pull up. There's a jewel store, a food store, right? And then they got a couple little places where you can get sneakers and jeans and stuff. And then online shopping is shutting it down. You know what I'm saying? But even those little mini malls, they struggling right now. Yeah, they struggling. So that's that. Jasmine, I hope she regroup, but she got to reinvent herself. She can't be confrontational no more. She got to reinvent herself. Like she can't do that no more. She got to do something else. She got to get a whole new image. I mean, I think she thought she was in there battling, but I believe the Democrats used her. You know what I'm saying? Because why they didn't speak up? Why she had to speak up all the time for the Democratic Party? You know what I'm saying? And I think she got to get a new look, get a better hair look, cut back on some of the over-the-top lipstick and all that, and definitely don't be talking ghetto. The ghetto vernacular, I mean, that make black people look bad. Don't nobody want to go to a doctor, and I go back with a doctor, and he'd be like, "What up, Pharaoh? So what's popping with you? What?" You know what I'm saying? I'll be like, "Damn." You know what I'm saying? I want him to talk like a doctor. I don't want to. Yeah, she was a little bit ratchet. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what was going on with her. Yeah, she didn't act sophisticated. And like you representing black people, like, come on. She might not never get another chance because she's already created an image of herself. But she would have won down there if they didn't cheat and redistrict. She would have won. She would have won 70% to 30% easily. Black people saying that they had to go from place to vote. And by the time they went to the other place, they closed it early on them. I do think they letting Trump do a lot of illegal. They're letting the Republicans break a lot of laws and do a lot of illegal stuff. I really think that's a bad look. I think the Republicans are doing too much illegal activity. I really do. I think in some ways they ruined. I think some ways they ruined the American elections. I do. I think the Republicans is not functioning right. I think that anything to win, that's not good. And now the young generation, so many of them are going to go to prison, try and do like Trump, and they're going to go to prison. Because if Trump don't be careful, he gonna go to prison if he live long enough. If he don't be careful. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna backfire on them if they don't do something. And meanwhile, the Democrats, they gotta find some causes. They gotta find their people. The Democrats got nobody to blame but they tell, because if the Democratic Party wanted to be strong, early they should have made Biden sit down. That's where they lost at. They left him out there sleeping and falling down too long. Soon as he fell down twice, they should have sat him down. The Democratic Party should have called him to the meeting and said, Mr. President, we want you to step down, with all due respect. That's what they should have did. But they left Biden out there until he froze at the debate and then tried to throw Harris out there at the last minute. People too hard on her. I think she's a rider. Because a lot of people would have been like, not now. So you want me to run for president with only 3 months left? I think she shouldn't have ran. I think she should have took over as president and then ran. But Biden is such an asshole, he didn't even step down. He made her run while he was still president. He could have stepped down and she would have been running as active president. But he's a racist, always has been. He sabotaged her. So if I was her, I wouldn't have ran. I would have waited till he retired. I would have stepped down as the vice president, and I wouldn't have ran till this time. I would have ran next time. I wouldn't have ran this time. Not with no 3 months. She made a bad mistake. She should have stepped down. She should have said, no, I don't have enough time. Find somebody else to do it. That's what she should have did. She should have looked out for herself. She should have said, no, I'm not running. Let Biden finish his term and find somebody to run. I'm not running. That's what she should have did. I know that's what she's thinking now. So look, y'all have a good day. Stay out of trouble. And don't let yourself get emotional over politics, and do not get on this social media talking crazy. Don't talk crazy. Don't be trashing the Trump administration on this social media when you know they playing hardball and they will send people after you and they will make your life difficult. So keep your mouth shut. Victory.